But global warming politicians seem to have no idea about the damage they're doing. I mean, you take Joe Biden in the State of the Union address, seemed to think America could go without oil in just, 10 years, until he was called out by Republican politicians for talking nonsense.
Have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis. I think it's outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells and all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade, and that's going to exceed and beyond that.
Joining me is National Senator Matt Canavan. Matt, the president then backtracked, I think maybe even longer than 10. I mean, seriously, we've got exactly the same problem here, don't we? Green politicians making investors think there's no future and no point in putting more money to find gas or oil or coal or keep coal-fired generators going, when the politicians at the same time making perfectly clear they want them gone and trying to get them gone.
Well, exactly right, Andrew. We have the exact same schizophrenia here in Australia. I mean, only a couple of months ago, the Albanese Labor Green government called us all back here to Canberra before Christmas for emergency sittings, and one of the things they wanted to do was to get more coal at knockdown cheap prices too, Andrew. They wanted to cap the coal price at $125 a tonne because they desperately needed coal to keep the lights on this year in Australia. And then we come back after Christmas in almost their first act back to Canberra. They are closing down or not allowing a coal mine to go through. Now, Andrew, this is the first time I think in recorded history that a government has said a flat-out no to a coal mine. Of course, mines need to be regulated and monitored.
Let me just interrupt you there,
but
Matt.
we do that
tell
successfully.
Viewers what we're talking about. Hang on, let's tell viewers what we're talking about. The Albanese government's just this afternoon banned a coal mine in Queensland. It's the Clive Palmer coal mine. The Environment Minister, Tanya Plibersek, says, well, she's rejecting it because of the risks it poses to the Great Barrier Reef, as well as freshwater creeks and groundwater. Now, are you for or against this decision? I mean, symbolically it's a bad move, but is the mine actually a threat?
I'm dead set against it, Andrew. I'm not against the appropriate regulations of mines. We have 34 coal mines that operate in the Bowen Basin. All of them are close to the Great Barrier Reef. All of them have operated most of them, I should say, have operated for decades. And guess what's happened over those decades? We now have record coral cover on the Great Barrier Reef at exactly the same time these mines have been operating. We have a flourishing Great Barrier Reef. Come and see it if you've got the time and opportunity to do so. But all Tanya's decision will do will deny Australian families a job to keep a house over their head. These are very hard times for Australians. A lot of families are struggling with the increased cost of living, and adding on red tape to job-creating projects like this one will only make things tougher for some Australian families. It also does nothing to help inflation. That's what we should be focused on. And to help tackle inflation, we need a more productive economy. And decisions like this will hurt that as well. I think this government has come to office thinking everybody subscribes to their Labor Green vision for a world full of solar panels, wind turbines, apparently powered by unicorns and rainbows. When really people just want a government to focus on their own lives, make their lives better, help them out to get from day to day. And this decision and many others from this government are not doing that.
No, it's not. It's very, very curious, Matt Canavan. And like you say, I mean, just yesterday, the ABC had to report that this reef that they say has been dying for, 20 years now? Yeah, I think 25 years.
Dead, I think sometimes they say it's dead.
No, there was one. Yes, there were headlines saying it was dead. It was dead, and now record coral cover. The ABC had to report that again just yesterday. Surprising coral cover. Matt Canavan, thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it.